What's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Talking Figures. As always, I am Tony. Today, I'm being joined by a guest that I'm very happy to bring to you, man. He's the co-host of two amazing live streams that you can catch every Monday and Thursday called Monday Night Raw and the Mega Powers. Ooh, yeah, with Toy Gaines and Disavowed Figures. His reviews, to me, arguably might be the funniest and most entertaining reviews in the toy community or what have you. Probably bar none to any review. Uh, he's a filmmaker. He's a comic historian. He's a toy collector, an all around great guy. I catch him every week on his streams, all the way from the Jerk Store. The man himself, Yojo Jerk, aka Brian. Man, how's it going, man? Welcome to the show.
How are you, brother? What an intro. Thank you so much. It sounds so good. I don't even know what to tell you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Listen, I'm very happy to have you on the show for a few reasons. One, I wanted to thank you in person because you and Toy Gaines and the Mega Powers live stream is what gave me courage to go live on my channel.
Wow.
Because I saw you guys and just the rapport you had. And I didn't know how long you guys had known each other. But if it wasn't long, you could have fooled me. You understand?
Yeah.
Because the way you guys played off each other. And I remember sitting with my wife watching it, turn around going, this is what I want. I just want to hang out with guys and talk toys and just laugh and have a good time, man. And so I just wanted
Wow.
to say thank you to you in person on the stream or not stream on the show, man.
Well, thank you. And thank you for watching, man, because honestly, I like to move from, not being seen in the
Yeah.
reviews for like a year. Like it was really hard to get up there and, be on camera. You know what I mean? Like
I was going to ask you about that when you do your reviews, it's all hands, never your face.
yeah, I just like I like it will start at the beginning, but
Yeah.
like it even to get to Yojo Jerk, took a lot because I've always been a writer and a filmmaker behind the camera,
Yeah, I
and I've
got you.
never been interested in acting. You know what I
Um,
mean? I don't like I get nervous in front of cameras. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like I clam up. I'm like, oh, there's a fucking eye on me. You know what I mean? Like it and like, I'm mid 40s and like it took me to almost until I was 40 to be able to do it, to
yeah,
muster it
yeah,
up, man. And honestly, I had been writing comedies and pilots and all kinds of stuff and producing stuff. And just the way the film industry's been going, with getting rid of comedies and,
yeah,
and tightening up, and nobody can be funny anymore or say anything. I kind of like gave up all hope of ever like selling my brand of comedy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
I'm loud, I'm crazy, I curse like a sailor, like like these are things that aren't really that socially accepted in like anything,
yeah, yeah.
right now. And I just needed to find something like that I could work on and I couldn't. So I was just bummed out like during the pandemic. I was like, well, I'm going to take another shot at this show.
Huh.
And then I was just like, I've always collected like toys here and there. I've always collected action figures and posters. Like it's always been my thing. I've just
So let's all right. So let me ask you that question because that's usually the first question I ask all the guests,
yeah.
which is when did you start collecting? Now, what I mean by that is I know when we're kids, we get toys from our parents and everything like that. I'm talking about when you started taking your hard-earned money and started buying toys and putting them on shelves, and then it became like it snowballs, obviously for all of us. Where now you have like a whole shelf full. When did that start happening for you? Was it during the pandemic?
No,
No, it was way before then.
no.
Okay.
Like, I would say when McFarlane Toys made the first Spawn figure,
Also, we're going back to early 90s.
We're talking like 94, 95
Okay. Oh, right
is
on.
like when I was like, I don't want that as a toy. I want that thing on my shelf because it looks
Awesome.
awesome. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, because when like right before I stopped playing with toys, me and a friend would just go to flea markets trying to get all the old Star Wars toys, like the vintage ones,
Okay.
like from the original Star
Yeah.
Wars toys.
Yeah.
That was like our thing. So that kind of got me into collecting, but then we also like, got to the age where it was girls and BB guns and M80s.
Yeah.
So we kind of, trounced a lot of it. And then like I said, I had always continued to read comics. Like my mother kind of taught me to read with comic books.
Yeah. Okay. Right on.
So that's, where it all started. Like that's why I can't watch like the X-Men cartoon because like when I was like 7 and 8, I was reading X-Men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was reading X Factor comic books. Like, so like when the cartoons came out, I was like, the lore's all wrong. And I was like, they look like shit. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people think the animation looks good, but when you're looking at like, Barry Windsor Smith artwork and you're looking at like Mark Silvestri artwork and then like you're looking at Jim Lee artwork.
Yeah,
The thing
absolutely.
the thing on the screen isn't what
Doesn't pay it any justice.
like it doesn't do anything to the boy's imagination when he's been
Yeah.
exposed to the artwork. So,
Yeah. No, absolutely.
like I lucked out. My mom was really cool and she was
Yeah.
smart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I didn't want to read. She's like, here are these comics. And I would be like, well, what the hell's happening? And
That's the
she's
same
like,
way.
and
It's
she
the same
was
way it was
like,
for me.
and she's like, well, you got to read to find out. And
Yeah.
that's when I was like, oh, good.
Yeah.
And I'd try to read the last page and be like, it makes no sense, and I'd have to go back. So,
Yeah. My
So
father
it-
was the same way with us. Because he's
So-
like, if you're not going to read these things. And
yeah. So
same exact way.
let me bring it back around. It
Mhm.
was Spawn when I was like 14, 15. I saw him at
Yeah.
the comic book store.
Right on. Okay.
And I was just like, I was like, I don't want to play with it, but I want to look at it all day long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, I'd mow lawns or I'd like do chores and, just slowly, got the McFarlane stuff as it went. And then like, I kind of dipped out between like 16 to like 18 and I would
Yeah.
only selectively like upgrade to the better Spawn or, when Movie Maniacs came out, I got all those, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was just when I was like, really, they're gonna fucking do all these movies I love, so and that kind of did it. And then and then NECA kind of has kept me in the game to this day. Like I have NECA pieces that are like beyond old, you know what I mean? Like
That's nice.
yeah,
One.
you know what I mean? Like this is one of the most gorgeous toys ever fucking made. Like,
Yeah. That was a good one.
you know what I mean? So like my collection goes deep and old. You know what I mean? It was just I didn't really know that people reviewed toys until the pandemic, really. You know what I mean? And then I was just watching people and I was like, it starts like anything else. You always get the bigger channels. So like my YouTube fed me Shartimus. And I was like, you know what? This guy's fun. He's got like some energy. I was like, this is kind of fun. I was like, the photography looks like shit because I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah, you kind of see.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everything's composition to me. I
Yeah.
mean, you can see it in my webcam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything's composition. I'm a freak like that. I'm a filmmaker. Everything I see, I like, okay, I frame
Yeah.
it. I can't help it because that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? So
When it's ingrained that deep, man, that's all you see. You have that director's eye.
yeah, I
Essentially.
mean, I gave up having a real career to try and be an independent filmmaker. You know what I mean? And it didn't
Yeah.
work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, like I said,
That's better than regret, though, man. That's what I always say. You gave it a
no,
shot.
no. Want to know
Yeah.
what? Everything you do no matter if it's shit or you've
Absolutely.
accomplished something, it all takes you to where you are now.
Like,
And
couldn't
without
agree
the
more.
bad, there
Yeah.
cannot be the good. You know
Yes,
what I
absolutely.
mean?
Oh, yeah.
And for me, it just took me watching a couple other YouTubers after they fed me this shit. You know, well, I'm not saying Chardemus is shit.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
know.
saying once I saw that there was one person, I was like, ooh, so they kept showing me, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fun. I like this. You know, I like I've heard you say I don't feel alone. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching a late 30s or a 40s-year-old fucking with the same toys that I'm interested in and
Exactly.
giving their perspective. And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I kind of just picked up everybody. Like I watched Robo, I watched some other people, and then, you know, I started getting nichey, and then like it just started feeding me people. And I'm like 90% of these people are boring. And I'm not trying to be a dick. Okay. It's just I'm a filmmaker. Like I will
Yeah.
watch a movie and I can't enjoy it. I will be like, oh, the lighting's fucked up. Like I could see, you know, like this guy is phoning in the performance. Like I look at it from the perspective of a filmmaker.
Filmmaking. Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be a dick to anybody, but like that's what I realized.
Yeah.
And then that kind of like, you know, it mulled around in my head for a long time. And then, you know, I stumbled across some other people and I was like, okay, like there's a dark side to all of this. Cause I don't know if you've ever seen like Talker Art.
No, I'm glad you brought this up because I do have this question that what I always another question I always ask guys is some of the negatives of toy collecting. Like I guess what you would just call the dark
Mhm.
side here.
Mhm.
Um do you think that affects you with collecting? Just like sometimes you see these people. I'm sure you're aware. You even said it on your
Mhm.
podcast today. You stand with the laser pants and it's Chad,
Oh, oh,
as do
oh
I.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Well,
does that
these
like turn you off from this? Like, because like I come from the
I
wrestling business, so when I one of the things that I noticed immediately about this community was how awesome you guys were in terms of like you guys welcome anybody in. You talk as long as you guys are talking about toys, you guys are in. But like every community has like some dark sides or some
Mhm.
dickheads and shit like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
does that turn you off, or do you just say, you know what, fuck that, I'm still gonna be me, I'm still gonna do my thing and let the
Uh
chips?
I mean, honestly, it's just fodder for me to call you a dickhead, you know,
Yeah,
in front of my audience. But
I agree, totally agree with you by the way.
you know, like I don't have time for that. Like I don't need drama in my life. Like I have enough of it in my real world.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't
Mhm.
need it in my hobby or, you know, the business that I'm trying to build. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? Like I love this, you know what I mean? And like if there's a negative motherfucker out there, you know, just stay the fuck out of my way. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like and luckily like I was, you know, I was last night you saw Laser Pants ask me if he ever stole anything from me, and it's because I don't break news and I don't do this and I don't do that. Like he has nothing he can take
Yeah,
from me.
steak.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like I'm sure in the past, because back in the day, like I have a way to get figures early. Like,
yeah, yeah.
you know, and I I I had a great hookup with the GI Joes before they fixed distribution.
Oh
So I
wow.
get them way early, and I guarantee he, you know, screenshotted my shit a bunch of times, but like I just don't care, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, you know, I hate the drama and I hate that you know, I hate
yeah,
that guy, dude. Like
yeah,
he's dog shit for a community, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like he is absolutely the worst. So, yeah, I don't like the drama. I'm here to have a good time. I'm here to make you laugh. I'm here to make art and have fun. You know what I mean? Like that's
Hell
why
yeah.
I'm here. You know what I mean? Like
Hell
I'm
yeah.
here to give you a perspective that you haven't seen. You
Hell
know
yeah.
what I mean? Like I'm here to give it to you uncut because I'm me. I'm not hiding behind, well, you know, like I'm a dad, and I'm
Mhm.
not doing that shit. Like, you are seeing the real guy here. You know what I
Hell yeah.
mean? Like, it's not a personality. Like, you want to come and hang out at the comic shop I work at. Like, you're getting this, and
Yeah.
it'll probably be turned up even worse. You know what I mean? Because that's how I fight my anxiety with comedy. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
everybody
Like,
has a defense mechanism, man, and
yeah,
and
like,
and that
I
works.
like, to
I'm the
me,
same
I
way.
just like having fun, and that
Yeah.
just leads to being funny for me, you know
I
what I
call it
mean? Like,
I call it being a silly goose.
yeah,
Like, I just use comedy as a way to kinda just cope and
yeah,
deal with the bullshit that goes on in my head,
yeah,
you know?
exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
That's the best thing to do, and,
Yeah.
like, I just try to just I push myself into the places that I don't wanna be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, like, it isn't easy to get up here and do this shit in front of a camera when, like, all you wanted to do was be behind it.
Behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like I said, like, every failure that I've had has led up to, me being able to learn how to do all this shit for my new thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all the graphic work you see, it's all me. All
Yeah.
the editing, it's all me. All the music, some of it I have a friend make, but I even go over those tracks and add all kinds of stuff. Like,
So, yeah, you're
every
basically soup to nuts. You're doing
yes,
everything.
I do everything. You know what I
Wow.
mean? I do the lighting, I film everything, the sound like, everything is me. Like, nobody does anything. It's all me. So, but that can only last so long, honestly. Like, I
Yeah.
want to get bigger, so
You
we're
gotta
going to
grow the
talk.
channel. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about editing later, but
Yeah, sure,
yes.
man. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely, dude. So let me ask you this because, like I said, sometimes we do have negativity in whatever community we're in. What does toy mean? What does toy collecting mean to you? Does it bring you to a safe place? Do you just sit back, look at the figures, and just kind of get away from the anxieties or the issues of the world? Um, or is it just like a fixation where you just want a completionist where you have to have certain things and have to have them quick?
No, I would say honestly for me, it's just always the joy of like just seeing that one little thing just turn into another little thing, and then there's another little thing, and then it turns into a display, and then
Yeah.
it takes up a shelf, and then it warrants like half a wall. But like, at the end of the day, I can just look at my Joe shelf and just be like, "Ah, it's so awesome." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like I could just lose myself and be like, "Oh, Shipwreck's awesome," or, like,
Yeah.
I love fucking Bazooka," and like, and to see them all together. That's what I always say in my reviews with the Joes. It's like it's just like Marvel Legends. They're fun by themselves,
But
but
together.
but in a display, it's
Yeah.
like a whole nother fucking thing. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Couldn't agree
And
more.
and then it leads into what you do, like the dios. Like,
Yeah.
like I always love having shit behind my displays. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
it's extreme sets, but
Yeah.
it's
No,
what
they
I
work.
can it's what works for me right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Whatever
what I
works, man.
mean?
That's I always tell people that you don't always have to go fancy diorama to get a great look. Extreme sets makes a great product. And
Mhm.
there's a few other quick ways. Like on Etsy, there's a gentleman that does printable dioramas, and then
Yeah.
they work just as good, man. So
Yeah, exactly.
whatever's gonna whatever's gonna zhuzh up the shelf a little bit, make it
Yeah,
look good.
exactly. Like, I wish I had the time to sit there and do diorama, but
Yeah.
it's like customizing. I can customize, but I literally just it's either YouTube or that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like when I was younger, it was like become a musician or become a filmmaker, and I wanted the filmmaker. So
So
that's
yeah.
a hobby. You know what I mean? That's a side thing. So, it's the same thing to me.
So now for filmmaking, You did how young did you get into that? Was that from day one? That's what you knew what you were gonna do?
No.
No?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Okay,
I,
and
I honestly I thought I would be a comic book artist.
oh, okay.
But when I was younger, I suffered an accident to my eye, and actually I am legally blind in this eye. And
Goddamn,
my
dude.
and my
Sorry,
depth
Phil.
and my depth perception is completely fucked up.
Oh, man.
So no, it happened so long ago. It's not a
Uh,
problem anymore.
okay.
But like for a few years, it was really hard for my brain to adjust to what happened to
Yeah.
him. You know, but it
Wow.
it completely ruined my ability to draw. Like
Oh,
I can draw really good, but like everything gets a little skewy and it's off a hair. And
okay.
it's because my depth perception is
This is
like
off.
it's incorrectable.
Yeah, okay, okay.
So I can't do anything about it.
Got it,
So
yeah.
you
Okay.
know, and I was just
So
like, well, that's done.
yeah,
I was like, maybe I could draw cartoons because like cartoons are easier to draw. Like
okay.
if you've been on my Patreon, you saw the cartoon, right?
I have not yet, no.
Okay, well,
I
go
will.
over there and
I
just
will.
keep in mind I drew everything.
Okay, right on. I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah. There's actually on my page, not my Patreon, on the membership.
Okay.
There's a members only video of one of my animated pilots that's like 15 minutes long.
Okay.
So and yeah,
I think I caught a piece of that. I was
yeah,
wondering if you did all the artwork, so I'm glad
yeah,
to know that.
I did all the artwork. I have a friend
Yeah.
who did the animation.
Nation. Okay, right
Yeah,
on, dude. Well,
I have a
listen, you're talented. You got a lot of talents, brother.
well, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
for real.
You know what I mean? But like I said, that cartoon doesn't serve me in this world. You know what I mean? Like you and I laugh at it, and
Yeah.
anybody who was born in the 80s would laugh at it. But like you show that to a, you know, alphabet soup person and they might
Yeah.
like come and string me up. You know what I mean? So you know, that's why when we come around full circle in the
Yeah.
conversation, like this is why I'm on YouTube. Like this is my
Okay.
way of doing art. This is how I do my art now.
Yeah,
Like
you
this
did
is
a
the
great
only
job.
way I feel like when I'm not making art, like there's a missing piece in me. You know
I
what I mean?
I
Like I
understand
have
that
to. Yeah.
completely. I understand
Yeah.
that completely.
Yeah. I have
I
to
got
do
hurt
it.
at when I was arrested, but I had taken a year off, and
Oof.
just before I was thinking about coming back, I got hurt at like
Yikes.
my day job. So it was gone. It was just taken from me.
Oh.
So for to a 2-year period, I had like you, like just an empty void. I didn't know what to
Mhm.
do. And that's what led
Mhm.
me to filmmaking. Like I all of a sudden kind of like realized that my favorite part of wrestling was the writing of storylines, was the writing of angles
Mhm.
and helping guys with characters and gimmicks. And I said,
Mhm.
there's a way to apply that to something else. And that's how I got into filmmaking. And then like just magically kind of felt like the piece that started to feel filled, you
Yep.
know? And yeah, I felt that. By the way, the same. I want to take this back to your film school thing. When
Mhm.
I went to stupid LA film school, and halfway through it, they was in the curriculum. They sent me videos that I had already watched. So I was furious. I
Oh,
know exactly. So I know exactly how you felt when you
yeah,
said all that. I was like, motherfucker. He felt exactly how I felt. He just got it earlier and was able to get out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I moved halfway across the country to go, and
Oh,
thank God I just left, man, like,
yeah.
and I took that money and I went to fucking Europe for a couple of months, and that was the
Oh,
best
nice.
thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah, for real.
Like, yeah, it was and
You
it cost
found yourself.
nothing back then, like, back
Yeah.
then, like, if you brought, like, $1,000 to Europe, like, you could if you stayed out of England, like, you could live like a pimp, dude, and I just stayed in shitty hostels
Yeah.
and just went train to train and just drifted for, I think it was, like, 2, 3 months. It was amazing. It was,
That's
like, the
awesome,
most
dude.
amazing thing I ever did, and honestly, when I came home, I was like, I knew what I wanted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, "I'm not gonna make a movie, I'm gonna make a cartoon, and this is how it's gonna go." And then I taught myself how to write scripts
Wow,
You
right on.
know, I
Yeah,
taught myself how to pick apart a movie
yeah,
and learn pacing and learn all the things you need, lighting, you know, marking people off and, you know,
yeah,
just filling the frame up correctly, you know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? So, like, you know, it was amazing, and like I said, to this day, I still learn, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always learning new tricks for filmmaking, and that's why I love it, you know what I
That's
mean?
one. It's one thing I'll say is you never stop learning. Like the day you think you learned it all is the day you should quit because you
Yeah,
think you know it all. You know.
yeah,
Uh,
that's insane, like,
yeah.
I
'Cause
wanna
even I'm the same
learn.
way. I'm still learning every day. Every
Yeah,
day.
I wanna learn and get better
Hell
every day,
yeah. That's what you
like,
want. Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
just and the next video's gotta be better than
last.
the one before it, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, even if it's just one little stupid thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even if I just, you know, hit hit those marks better, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
framed everything out better, like, you know, edited the short better, you know what I mean? Figured
Yeah.
out something new that, you know, we haven't done yet, you know? So
Exactly.
yeah, I
Okay.
love it. I love it.
Okay. So like you say, so you said you collect your the collector, and you started to like you started to feel good when you started seeing that shelf get filled with figures, and it becomes a wall, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what would you say was the most you ever spent or like
Ooh.
gone through to get? Like what like when you look back at your collection, what
Mm.
was the figure you're like, oh man, I spent a lot or I did a lot to get that one?
Prob I hmm. Hmm. I have to answer this very carefully, sir. No, honestly, I have to think because you're talking like just years, and then even back in the day, there were some vintage pieces that I managed to get, but honestly, when I was in my like, no, I'm trying to think here, man. It actually was a Super 7 Motu figure. It was Man at Arms. I think I paid, like, probably no, I can't say that. Shit. Honestly, I don't go psycho on really expensive stuff. I would say, honestly, the most expensive thing is the Hiss Tank. Like,
Okay.
I
Okay.
can't think anything I spent more than $400 on.
Wow, you're a
But
you're
but
you're
there are
a smart
things
man.
I feel guilty about, like, I've bought, like, Super 7 Motu Man-at-Arms for, like, $200,
Okay.
and that like, now it's just completely painful when I look at them, and, Tila, I probably paid, like, 150 for, and that's, like, buyer remorse. So,
Yeah.
like, it might not be the most expensive, but, like, that's probably the most amount of money I've spent on a
I don't
figure
figure.
that
Okay.
was, like, a complete disappointment.
Okay.
Like, she came out like a fucking maraca, bro. She was, like,
Oh my
rattling. Her head
god.
was like, "Ah!" I'm just like, "Oh, no." I was like, "This was brand new factory sealed." Like, the guy didn't fuck me on the sale. Like,
Yeah. It was
it
just
was
the way it
brand
was.
new yeah, it was just Super 7 garbage, you
Yeah,
know,
god
so
damn, dude. That's
yeah.
why I never jumped down that line, thank God.
Yeah,
So what
they
would you say let me rephrase the question then. Let me what would be your grail piece?
hmm.
Like a piece you can't live without. Like if they're saying I'm going to take your collection away tomorrow, and you can
Oh,
keep one.
out of my collection.
Yeah, out of your collection.
Ooh, there's some good ones. See, you got me looking at my set and I'm like, who do I really love? Because it's really hard to pin down, but I would say right now, I couldn't live without that Mezco Conan. Like I'm always fucking with that thing, dude. Like I
That's
know
all.
I'm a broken record, and anybody who follows me is like, God, Moody, shut the fuck up about that thing. but it looks like a Frazetta painting in your
No, it
fucking
does.
hand. And it articulates really well, except for mine has the seized arms, but whatever. I don't
Oh man.
it like when they're not seized, because I have two of them. I'm that fucking psycho. I have two of them. One of them wasn't seized, and I was
Nope.
like, I actually don't like it. So I kind of don't bitch about the seized arms anymore because I
Okay.
kind of like it.
Okay. Okay.
So
I so bummed that they really that company boned me in the ass with that one.
oh, what happened with yours?
They told me I pre-ordered it, right? And then
Oh,
I got the email that it was ready. And then all of a sudden, like a week later, I got put on a waiting list. And I was like, I said, what's the point of pre-order? You took whatever the deposit was. You took that from me, telling me that I would
Mm.
guarantee me a figure. Now you're telling me, sorry, bud. You know, I was really mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to give them some stink a little while ago because they took money for something, and dude, they took over a month to ship it.
God damn.
And I don't know if it's like, you know how you get an automated response?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I called them on their shit twice with proof and put it on there, and I was really cordial, like, because I
Okay.
don't want to fuck with them. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? I do, like, when I get one, I really fucking like them. You know
Oh,
what I
they are
mean?
awesome. They are
Yeah,
awesome.
I really enjoy them. Like they're the line that I never collected, and then recently, like the last like 3-4 years, got into,
Yeah,
and they're like up there as one of my favorites. Not everything they make,
yeah.
but anyway, let me continue.
Mhm.
Like I actually got a human response.
Wow.
I think it was when I talked to Toy Gaines and gave the name on the email. He was like, "Yo, I think that's the owner's wife."
Oh, wow.
And they're like, "Your order's processed, blah blah blah." And then I look at the email that came an hour beforehand, and there was a shipping label.
Oh.
So they do right when they fuck up,
Mhm.
mainly. So I'm not a shill, but I'm saying
Yeah.
sometimes they do good too.
You know what it is? 'Cause I remember going back and forth on email. It could have been a bot. I don't know, but I just remember being very dismissed, and I was just like, "This isn't like the first Mezco figure I had bought at that point. I had
Yeah,
bought
yeah,
many ones before that. My favorite Batman is the Mezco Sovereign Knight. I love that
yeah. That
Batman. Might be
thing's
my
beautiful.
Yeah, it might be my favorite Batman. Although we could use a wired cape. I mean, Jesus, it took them long enough to do that, but whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, but so I had bought many Mezcos, and then Conan's my favorite character of all time because it's a character that I bonded over my father with. Me, my father's favorite character is Conan. So I try to buy anything Conan. Like
Yeah,
that's
me
why I was
too.
bummed about the Super 7 ones. I heard how
Yeah.
bad they were, and I kind of stayed away. But yeah, so when I pre-ordered this one and they boned me, I was so mad. And the way that I was just dismissed, I was like, man,
Ah,
fuck this company. Never
yeah,
bought anything again.
they gave me the cold shoulder, but they
Yeah,
also like gave me emails saying, shit that I could just
yeah, yeah,
easily get right back to them. But you
yeah,
know, because I know Mezco's not doing me favors. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
no, yeah, yeah.
I mean, my first video, I got one of their products earlier than their main reviewer, and I trashed it. So that's how I met Toy Gaines, actually.
Okay, right on.
So
Oh, let's
yeah,
get into that.
yeah, I
The genesis of the Mega Powers, because that was your first podcast before, first live podcast.
yeah, they're
Not
both mega powers. It's just we gave Monday just a different name because Tim wasn't there. That's
bad.
mainly the reason.
All right, so this leads you to Toy Gains. Now you've just said that you were complaining about a Mezco figure and you meet Toy Gains.
Well,
Now is it immediate friendship? How did this work?
no, not at all. Okay, so I get now. You know Mezco Ghost Rider, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
I was the first motherfucker with it. Okay, I
Wow,
had I had somebody over in China get one, and I got it like weeks before The Amazing or anybody.
wow. Okay.
And when I got it, I was like, okay. I was like, you're never gonna have another opportunity like this in your life. Like, you
Mm,
gotta do a review. And that's my first review. Like,
You. Oh wow.
like the stars aligned for me.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
for
what I
real.
mean? Like I lucked out, but I also knew not to be boring.
Yeah.
And I knew to be authentically me the best I could. It was just if you watch the earlier videos, it's a little slower. It's a little,
Yeah,
but you got to learn and find your voice.
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
like, if you watch my first like 5 videos, they're over the course of, weekly, but like, I get better as I go because I get more comfortable. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, to go up and do that, and I knew I was gonna get the views. Like, I knew it was gonna get like 15,000 views. Like, I knew it because that's what D Amazing gets. And I'm not
Yeah.
trashing D.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
He is nothing but nice and a wonderful human, but without the Mezco getting them before everybody else, like, I'm sure he wouldn't be where he is. He is their golden
Mhm.
boy. They give it to him first.
Mhm.
Okay. I came in as a complete novice. I wasn't a robot, and I got the views that D Amazing gets on his videos. And
Yeah.
I'm not inflating my head. These numbers are true.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
and I still think I was a robot. Like, I can't even go back and watch that video. Like, it's
Yeah.
hard to watch. But what happened was I said it was low effort for how long people have waited.
Okay.
And and the motorcycle I got was like a sample, basically. It didn't have instructions. So I
Oh, wow.
couldn't light the bike up because the button was hidden, you know?
Oh, wow.
So I had to make a second video after everybody complained in the first video.
Yeah.
I was like, and I said in the video, I said, more than likely it's my dumb ass. I can't, I don't know where the button is. I can't figure it
Yeah.
out. I put the buttons in, the fucking on switch is on. I can't figure it out. So, but then I figured it out and made another video right away, and it
Yeah.
got 8,000 views the next day.
Yeah, right on. Wow.
So, but anyway, people lost their minds because I said it was low effort, and the one fucking motherfucker out of the crowd in all those goddamn comments is this guy who looks like motherfucking Bazooka in his fucking thumbnail. Okay, Toy Games used to look like he had a cosplay of himself as Bazooka.
Bazooka, yeah,
Okay,
I remember it, yeah.
and he's just like, look, everybody, in his comment, and you can go look, it's still there. Like, this is history. You know what I mean? Like, it's there. I'm not making this shit up, but he defended me. He's like, this guy is legitimately telling you truths you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And then I just always kind of stuck in my head, and I was like, that fucking thumbnail. And then, like, I would go watch 303 POA, podcasts, and I'd see this fucking dickhead with the fucking bazooka thing. And I'm like, who the fuck is this dickhead? So I click on him, and I'm like, this fucking guy makes videos. Okay. So I start watching his videos, and I'm like, I have never, ever seen somebody like him. Okay. I haven't. I haven't. Really. I mean, he's just all there. Like,
Yeah.
he's just Angelo, you know what I mean? Like, he's not holding back on you. He's not making a front. He's telling you exactly what's on his mind. And I just started watching his videos and like commenting on him. And then, like, because I do GI Joes, and he likes GI Joes, and because he subbed to me after the Mezco thing because I told the truth. And I liked him because he told the truth and he was funny. And I'm like, well, I was like, besides Talker Art, who's kind of racist, you know what I mean? He's like, there's not really any funny people in this sphere. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
everybody's really dead serious. So
Yeah.
it kind of like gave me a little bit of hope that, like, seeing his channel kind of grow at the same time.
Okay.
And then we would just comment back and forth for like the next year. And then out of the blue, I knew I needed to go live because like when you watch my videos and you never seen me like you can get all kinds of impressions of what kind of person you might be dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to crank out a video a week and
Okay.
just get through all this. You know what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
got to, like, anything with YouTube, and I will teach anybody a lesson, is at least make something once a week. Like once a week. And by the time a year is up, you have so much of a backlog that when you do get subscribers, they like you, they will go back and watch your old shit. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
That's a good piece of advice.
So to me, it was always important to make something that was quality and something that you can go back on. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like no matter what, like,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that's where the cold openings came from, because I was like, what can I do to grab people immediately that nobody else does, but also has a replay value, even if you don't want to watch my review,
Yeah,
and I'll still get your click.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Listen, those cold openings get me every time, bro.
they get me every time. Like, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, you should see me at home editing them. I'm like, oh, I'm dying. My wife's like, you're a fucking idiot. She's like,
Dude, they get me every time.
yeah, like I love them. I'll never stop making them, dude.
Good.
Like, yeah, and I modify it enough where they can't come at me for anything.
Yeah, they're
You know
perfect,
what I
dude.
mean? Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. I'd like, to me, like there's some times where I have a review completely done and ready to upload, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing for the short, and like the review actually gets held up by the short
Sure.
because it can't be mediocre anymore. Like
Yeah.
I have just I've unfortunately just raised these bars so high on it that, you know,
Yeah, you continue to raise them, let me tell you.
well, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for real, man.
You know,
We get like this every
there's
time.
some of them that are cringe to me, like at the beginning, where I was just like, God damn it, so fast, and my camera has like shit on the lens, and I'm like, I gotta get this review out goddamn fast, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know, but like anything, like I said, you just gotta build and get better every time, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
I
like,
always tell my wife when she's complaining about hobbies and shit, you can be bad at it before you get good at it. It's just like a
yeah,
learning process.
yeah, dude. No, nobody's perfect. And like, dude,
Exactly.
like my first video, like that's a lesson in like everything for me. Like when I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing a good job, I just go watch that video and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, there's like maybe like 3 or 4 cuts in like 20 minutes, whereas
Oh,
like my
Jesus.
new videos have like 1,000 to keep the pace going. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
like
so
that's what my editing style is, called the freight train. I just
I'm glad you're bringing it up because I wanted to get into your process when you edit these videos, and I
Mhm.
noticed a lot of quick cuts. I noticed a lot of
It's all quick cuts, bro.
yeah, I noticed it's like very in your face. Um,
Mhm.
was that did you develop that right from the beginning,
No,
or was that
no,
something that just came to you? Okay,
no, that's something, I had to learn, like I said, I had to learn to be the man
everything,
in
yeah,
front of the camera, even though I'm not. My
yeah,
hands are there. I have to talk you through this fucking thing.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So like, because I felt like I couldn't do it, I had to find a format. And
yeah.
I was like, as long as I follow a format, like I'll never lose. And then like everything just built off that. And that's how the editing style became. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
It evolved, but probably
Mm.
by like the 8th video
Kind of got a hang
is
of it.
when I was like, I was like, I feel like the pace isn't there. Like
Okay.
I want it to be like when you click on the video, like there's no room for you to leave. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't talk like when you see my video, like that 10-minute video is me talking for 40 fucking minutes.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like, because you understand editing, you
yeah,
understand the process, but
yeah, absolutely.
like my raw footage is like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like, and it's because I'm an experienced filmmaker. I know how to talk
Yeah,
and stop and then talk and then stop,
Wow.
and then it hits a cadence and a rhythm when I'm editing.
I
You
got you.
know what I mean? Like, because I'm a filmmaker and an editor,
You're setting it
like,
up before you
I
even get to
know
it.
my own sweet spot for being
Yeah.
like, I could take that breath away. I could take that pause out.
Mm,
I can cut this shit part out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I'm not gonna diss any other people, but like there's guys who review the same things as me and their videos are like 40 minutes and like we're saying the same goddamn thing. And I got you through it in lightning. I
Yeah.
got you through this thing in like 8 minutes,
Minutes.
brother.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And we both had a good time. It was a good ride. I'm not here
Yeah.
to fucking waste an hour of your time. So,
Yeah.
that's kind of where it all came from. And it's like, I don't want to lose your attention. You
Attention.
know what
You
I
you
mean?
grab the attention quick and you keep it. And like you said, in a quick amount of time. I
Yeah.
notice guys, I don't know if they're trying to do like the watched hours, like they're looking at their YouTube algorithm things.
Yeah.
And they think that because they need to make it longer. So they stretch it out. Some people, like you said, just
It's
as nice as they are, you sometimes you just have the personality of a wet paper bag.
Yeah,
You know, so just
I'm not trying to diss because
no, yeah, absolutely not.
they're not
Yeah,
thinking about it as a writer. They're not thinking about it as somebody who's like, dude, I've directed shit that's on DVD. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I've directed TV pilots.
Oh, yeah. So
I know what I'm
yeah,
doing.
you know
You
your
know what
shit.
I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like I know people do this for a hobby and fun. This is my hobby and fun, but like it's
Take it
art.
seriously.
It's
Yeah, you take it
art to
seriously.
me. Like it's
Yeah,
beyond just a hobby and fun too. It's
yeah,
fucking art. Like
yeah.
I'm I mean it's toys. I know it sounds fucking stupid, but like
Everything is
I
art, man. No, yeah,
yeah, I still am, you know, I'm
yeah.
expressing myself. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like it's a pure expression.
The one thing I tend to take solace in, if you want to say that, is when it comes to those channels, and I'm not, I never say no names or anything like that.
Yeah, I
I
don't
just feel like you're probably still in the beginning stages of figuring out your personality or where you're gonna fit in terms.
and that ain't easy, man.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like, I'm not going to tell you the things that I do aren't strategic because they
yeah,
are.
yeah,
Like you have to, like, you can't just come at it like, well, I'll throw this at it and I'll throw this at it. Like when I started, I did not do any GI Joes until I was a couple of months in because I wanted to be comfortable because
yeah,
when I did it, I wanted it to be on a new level. And it
yeah,
was like, if you go back and watch my Storm Shadow video, that's when my channel really became a channel. You know what
channel,
I
yeah.
mean? Like everything before it is like the Yojo Jerk prototype.
Type
You
thing.
know what I
So,
mean? And
so would you say that the Storm Shadow episode is the one you figure like, oh, I got the hang of this now?
well,
Right?
yeah, like that's where the real first
Yeah,
cold opening like
yeah, okay,
came from. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
there's two before it, and like my first video has me as the cold opening. Like the cold opening was always there, but like
yeah,
the Storm Shadows where I just fucking nailed it because the figure came in and it was the first one with like fucking goofy eyes and like it just was a train wreck. Like and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I can fucking rip this thing apart. You know what I mean? So that was like I had so much fun on that video and I learned so much on that video because I did push it too far and I pissed
yeah.
people off.
Well, yeah.
So now there's a fine balance between like I'll say what needs to be said, but like the sword isn't as sharp. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
We'll
yeah, I
we'll,
get it.
we'll say the axe is
Like,
more blunt.
one,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I've learned to, be a little easier or the delivery of the criticism is a
yeah,
little easier to swallow because I was way too fucking hard on that Ghost
um,
Rider bite, but that's how I felt at the time.
no,
So,
yeah, of course
I
you
can't
can't. Yeah,
I can't change it. And
yeah.
over time Mezco did win me over. It's just that is a shitty fucking figure. To
No,
this
yeah,
day, it ain't worth the money. The Ghost Rider was half-assed, and people had to wait a millennium for it. So,
That was a
you
long
know,
wait, right?
oh my God, it was crazy. I think that was like a 2.5 year wait or something,
Jesus
something
Christ.
fucking stupid.
Yeah.
To me, I made a custom at that time because I was still on the tail end of doing customs, and
Okay.
and I put mine next to that, and I mean, you be the fucking judge. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
my minimal effort fucking chopped up a McFarlane cycle looked 1,000 times better than their
Yeah.
fucking Ghost Rider bike.
Wow.
So,
That's crazy.
yeah, it is what it is.
Well, you said before that you collect multiple lines because you've been doing this for a very
Yes.
long time.
Yes.
What would you say, gun to your head, is your favorite line?
Uh Now, I know this might sound like a bit of a betrayal, but I really have always loved Marvel Legends, and I have to explain.
Okay.
You know, okay, when I was gainfully employed when Marvel Legends from Toy Biz came out.
Okay.
Okay, gainfully employed. Like I had money, had a car, all
Yeah.
so, coming from somebody who read comic books and still read comic books, like they
Yeah.
blew your fucking mind. You were like, "Oh my God, it looks exactly like them. That they got fucking their arms move like crazy and like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're painted like amazingly." So like I owned every fucking Marvel Legend until Hasbro bought them.
Oh, wow.
Every one of them, brother. Every one of them. I loved them. Big giant display. That first Hasbro fucking White Queen and Wolverine wave was the biggest disappointment of dog shit
Yeah.
ever. Ever. Like, dude, like for somebody who collected every one of them, went to every fucking toy store. This is before online. So you would have to go to KB. You would
Yeah.
have to go everywhere to find these fucking things. And I live rural. You know what I mean? Like I used to
They're
have to
traveling
drive.
everywhere.
I used
Yeah.
to drive to cities like 40 minutes to get to these fucking things.
Holy shit.
And I love the thrill of the hunt. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't anymore because there's nothing to hunt. Like
For
everything's
real.
there. And
Online. Yeah.
but yeah, I used to love, like, dude, we used to drive like crazy fucking distances to like, yeah, go to Walmart's just to like raid them of all like the fucking variants and shit. Yeah. Yeah. So like I love comic books and I love Marvel Legends, but here's the thing you gotta understand. I didn't get back into Legends until like 2019. Because they
Okay.
like from that entire time period, from when Hasbro bought them until 2019, they were dog shit to me.
I
Like
would have to agree.
I still thought they were garbage. I thought none of them lined up. The articulation was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like the fucking eyeballs pointing two different directions, all that shit. It wasn't until I saw that Juggernaut wave, or it was the Apocalypse wave with the X-Men, where I was like, oh, they might be getting there, but I'm still not doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I started to pick up a here and there. I was like, oh, that Captain America looks so good. He looks so good. You know what I mean? So, and then it snowballed into the fucking nightmare it is
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
And
I agree.
honestly, they're beautiful. Like Marvel Legends, when they're not full of garbage building, they're fun. Like they hit a button for me like no other. Now, that's because I've been collecting them so long. Now, G.I.
Yeah.
Joe is like neck and neck, but it's still evolving. Like they haven't made everybody that I like. Like with Marvel Legends, they make everybody I like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they
Yeah.
make them fast. And if they're
That's true.
dog shit, you'll get a better one. And honestly, I know like older collectors hate this time period because they're like, I already have this figure. I'm like, bring it with the better fucking paint, bring it with the better
Oh, yeah.
sculpting. bring it because I want it now. I didn't want it back then when it looked like dog shit. Like, I didn't want like that A-Force 4-pack. I love every character in it, but they're made like dog shit.
Oh,
So
shit,
I'll
yeah.
pass because
Yeah.
I know they're just going to remake them now.
And make them better.
So,
That's very
yeah,
true.
yeah. So
Very true.
they got me hooked. But like I said, very quick second is Joe. Because like
Now you just said about G.I. Joe is they didn't make certain ones that you're waiting for. Who are you waiting for?
Alpine, all like probably Road Pig's one of them.
Okay.
The guy who drives the Thunder Machine who looks like fucking Aviator's monkey wrench.
Okay.
Like, dude, there's so many. Like, once you start the list of Joes, it starts to like just snowball. There's so many to make.
I know.
Just like Marvel Legends. So
Legends,
I'm in. I love it. It's fun. And I like the scale. Like,
I love it. Yeah.
like 3 3/4. I like it because yes, it was childhood, but
Mhm.
I also was enamored back in the toys by better design.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
like better design toys. I like toys that don't look generic. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not busting on anybody who collects vintage because I get it. There's a place in your heart. But like when I look at a vintage Luke Skywalker, I'm like, oh, I had him. But when I see like the brand new Black Series one, I'm like, oh, look at that beautiful fucking sculpture.
figure,
Look at
yeah,
that
for real.
beautiful fucking paint. Oh
Mm.
my God, could I pose the shit out of that? So, like,
Yeah.
to me, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying I've grown out of the vintage stuff.
I'm the
Like,
same way.
it
I feel the same
doesn't do,
exact way.
and it's horribly fucking expensive, but I do get pieces that mean to me. You know what I mean? Like, I do still buy vintage Joes, like here and there when I see a good deal on them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like, I like anticipating the new. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're fun. So,
I agree
you
with you
know,
100%.
nothing to bash on vintage. It's just, I like it to look better. And I
Yeah.
like I know people hate when they're like, when you were a kid, your hands were smaller. No, you're an adult, they're bigger. But it's the fucking truth, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
have fucking sausage hands. I'll break every vintage Joe in my path. You know what I mean? Like, if you put me near a USS Flag, like, that railing's getting broken. Like, don't even put me near it, man. Like, I break Mezco shit, like fucking old attic rotted G.I. Joe products, man, like crumble.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, I feel the same exact way when,
Mhm.
especially for photography. I feel like the
Yes,
1/12
yes.
scale figures just perfect
Yeah.
for photography and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're little fucking statues that move.
Yeah, they're
They're
perfect.
amazing. Yeah,
Perfect.
like everything I pictured a toy that I wanted it to be in my imagination as a kid is what they make now.
Now,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, when I used to stare at my vintage Joe, I'd be like, oh, he looks so much better in my head, So, you just, I
You
don't
make
know.
do. Yeah, you
Yeah.
make do, man. I totally listen. When I mean, like, could we be more birds of a feather, dude? That X-Men wave was the same wave for me that got
Mhm.
me into Marvel Legends because I was just kind of because I had collected the 3 3/4 ones, what are they, the Marvel Universe figures they were called at the time,
Yeah,
and
they were dope, man.
I had a bunch of them. I had a
Yeah.
bunch, like a huge collection. I sold them because I was done collecting figures, and then I was just hanging out with my friends, man, and saw that wave that you just mentioned, the Apocalypse wave, the Juggernaut wave. I think it was both of them, and I was just
Mhm.
like, okay,
Yeah,
this looks good. This looks
yeah.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, like they finally figured it out. Like,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, damn. And then like they put out Psylocke in the sexy suit. I was like, ooh, there might be hope.
Yeah,
So
they did a good job, man. And then
yeah, but
they just kept dropping better and better ones and better ones. Like you said, then they get to these Captain Americas and you're like, God damn it, I'm all in. Like,
yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, as a comic book junkie, like if they make like Bucky Cap, I'm like, oh, I fucking love that comic. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So like to me, it's like instant buys on certain
yeah.
things. So
Did you ever jump off any of those HasLab ones? You have like the Sentinel and Galactus and all those guys?
uh I was lucky enough to get a Galactus from somebody who bought like 1,000,000 of them, and like he
Oh,
like
okay.
financially devastated himself. So I got it for like $100 off, like what it originally was.
Nice,
Yeah,
right
like
on.
I got it. I got like the deal of a lifetime.
Oh,
So
hell
I
yeah.
do have Galactus, and he's great. Like I have
Yeah,
no
I have the
complaint.
Sentinel, and I like him very much. I think he's terrific.
The guy who brought the Galactus was supposed to bring the Sentinel, and like the guy up front turned him away because he didn't have a box. And I was like, "You fucking idiot!" I was like, "I
Mm,
would have just bought it for
mm,
me, you dope."
yeah.
So yeah, I yelled at the guy up front. I'm like, "I can't believe you fucking did that."
Did you did you get the Dragonfly?
I did. The Joe stuff.
You're always in, right?
I'm like 90% in on everything.
Oh,
So
okay.
you know what
Uh,
I mean? Like I to me, I love it. And
yeah.
especially now with the vehicles, it's like anybody who used to complain that it's like, oh, there's no world building. It's like, well, there's a Jeep, there's a Hiss tank, there's multiple bikes, there's trouble
Yeah.
bubbles. Like it, the things that people were complaining about are
Right.
happening now. We're getting
I know.
vehicles. You'll get your play sets. It will happen. It's making money. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know, they make dumb decisions, but at the end of the day, it's just a fun fucking figure, you
Hell
know?
yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
exactly. You know, you can't expect everything to be gold from a company that owns all the keys. You know what I
Very,
mean?
very
It's
good way of
like
putting it.
Disney. It's like Disney. Like all this stuff sucks, but you know, they have it all.
Yeah.
It's like deal with it or don't. And
Don't
I deal with
exactly.
it. I deal with it and I have my forum to bitch about it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, you know,
Hey,
when
man.
I get a gummy knee or a fucking arm that pops off, like the world gets to know.
You gotta know about it. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. So
Fantastic, brother. That's all the questions I have. So now we're just gonna basically shoot the breeze, man, and just
fuck
hang out
yeah.
for a little bit
Hell
until
yeah.
we wrap it up. Like I said, dude, are you excited for the new I assume are they gonna announce a HasLab on June 5th, whenever their announcement is?
I would only assume that they definitely are. It seems like that's the gag. It's going to be every
Yeah,
Yojo June is
yeah,
another HasLab. But it sucks because they fucking deliver the one that you ordered like a year and a couple of months
months later.
after,
Yeah,
you know. So it's a little brutal. Like they definitely should know at this point to like start production early because
yeah.
like everybody's buying the GI Joe fucking HasLabs. It's just the way it is. And
Those things.
honestly, I hate the model, but it showed that people wanted the shit.
Yeah,
And that's how we got, you know, the vamp and the trouble bubble. So like, you know, like
the
I
ferret,
know
right?
yeah, the motorcycles have kind of been around a while, and you
Okay.
know they're easy. Like I wouldn't call that. That's the same thing with like the coil. The coil was like in the first 13.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah, yeah. I'm talking about like what is it? The four-wheeler now that came out, right?
oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, they have the
Yeah.
ferret, and then they have the Tiger Force version.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like they gotta pull those shipping windows, man. I know that like they're hot on it because you know they probably made them at the same time.
Mm,
But it's like sit on the fucking thing for a year. Like let people enjoy the ferret before you fucking re-release it as something else. You know what I mean? Like
couldn't
it's
agree more. Oh
yeah,
my god.
like I'm waiting for the Cobra fucking thing. That's the Cobra version of the Vamp. I fucking the name's the Stinger. I think that's what it
It's called,
is.
yeah.
But
I never get the names, dude. They always
yeah,
escape me.
yeah, it's because I collect too much shit, dude. There's a
Yeah.
million fucking names to remember, and then I read comics and movies, and yeah, it all just you know,
It just all
kind of
jumbles up into
fucking
one thing.
yeah, it just shits together. So, but anyway, like I'm shocked they didn't release the Stinger already. They're like, all right,
Yeah.
let's make some fucking money off those molds, baby.
For real.
So,
For real, for real.
but I did hear they're putting the Vamp back in the production because they're
That sold
selling
out
for
quick, right?
dude, they're selling for like $230 on eBay, like religiously.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's insane. Just
Yeah.
pre-order the motherfucker. Just do it. Pre-order it when they fucking put it up and you get it. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean? Like
agree.
just do it.
That's what I tend to do, just like on your stream today when you showed that the Batmobile kit,
yeah,
and I was like, "Ooh, man, I know it's 124, it's a little pricey, but I think that McFarlane one, even like you said, it's just gonna be a giant piece of plastic. That's
yeah,
gonna sell out quick. It's
yeah,
gonna sell out real quick."
yeah. And I think, see, here's the thing with model toys. I actually like them a lot. I don't get time for it, but like the Bandai Star Wars models of like,
Yeah.
that, like they're fun as shit. If you need to like just blow off steam and like turn the world off, like just get yourself a fucking snipper and a model of like a fucking Star Wars model kit, dude. You'll lose yourself for like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
like I don't get to do it because it's a time thing, and it's not even something I would do that much. But like every couple months, I'd be like, all right, I'll build that Boba Fett. I'll
Yeah.
build that like stormtrooper. And then it's just kind of like it has a weird spot on your shelf when you look at it. You're just like, yeah, I didn't just buy that. I kind of made it,
Yeah, you
It
put it
was
together,
like
man.
it was like 50 million little pieces,
Yeah.
So, so like that Batmobile thing like appeals to me in such a fucking way because I'm like, I could lose myself for fucking days in a 112 fucking tumbler.
I
You
know.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't know where the fuck I would put it, but
Yeah.
like, I could shut the world off for a while and like, just put headphones on, fucking put the Spotify on, shut the
Just go to
world
work.
down. Yeah, it's nice. It is.
Oh, yeah, man.
I'm
Dude,
I'm talking myself into it.
I know
I'm
for
like,
real.
well, I actually have one that I gotta do. It's that Ripley in a power loader, and it's
Oh, dude.
112.
Yeah.
I
What are you waiting
haven't
for?
done it yet. I haven't done it yet. So I'm like, oh, I might have to do that soon.
You gotta definitely put that together. That's awesome, dude.
But that's some therapy shit. Like I'll tell you, try it sometime. It's
Dude,
rewarding.
because I do it kind of with Legos. Like I have the Lego
Mm,
tumbler, and it's just kind of
mhm.
the same thing. You just divvy out all the pieces and start putting it together, put on headphones, listen to music or whatever. Um, but when I saw that Batmobile, that's the first thing I thought of was just putting it together, losing myself for a couple of days because I like puzzles and things of that
Yeah,
nature.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I figure, oh, you could just put some stuff to you put this thing together. And not only do I put a puzzle together essentially, but now I get a cool toy out of it and two of
Mhm.
them because you get the motorcycle too. So I'm seriously considering jumping off the cliff and getting it and then just saying, screw the McFarlane one. But
Yeah, I might be in that ballpark because I do love the
uh,
tumbler, and I kind of already have
that's my
like
favorite one. Yeah.
yeah, I have a 66 and I have both 89s because like
Oh, wow.
I'm a Batmobile. Like if it's
Yeah.
a certain Batmobile, yeah, like I'm on it.
Are you gonna
Like
get that new one that they just showed?
it is way too expensive. And honestly, that's from a recent comic series that's really
Uh,
good. And the scaling of that Batmobile is completely off to the comic. Like, so
oh,
I don't know. I might have to see it in person
person.
kind
Okay.
of deal. It was like the oh fuck, the Vanguard, the Valaverse Vanguard. Like I needed to really see it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I'm not being a dick. Like
No, I agree.
I just needed to see it. And when we went to ZoloCon and I got to see it like right in the display, I was like, oh, this thing is worth every penny. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? But the Batmobile, just to get back to it, the cockpit should be way bigger
Uh,
for the comic. And I
yeah.
really like Sean Murphy's art. Like that,
Yeah.
the guy who draws White Knight, like that shit's awesome. Like
Okay.
the writing of the book is and it goes downhill over multiple like graphic novels. But his designs of Batman and the Batmobile are amazing. So
Hell yeah.
if that thing was $59.99, it would be in my collection instantly. Like McFarlane, he
Well,
went
how much is it? 150 or something?
$89.99 and
Oh,
it
okay.
doesn't come with the figure.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
it's a $90 Batmobile.
Yeah.
I need to see it. You
See
know
it
what I
for
mean?
sure.
So,
Yeah.
like the
'Cause
89, I got it. You know what I mean?
I'm the same way with you, man, with the Batmobiles. I love vehicles. I know there's
Yeah.
not like there's limited space for these vehicles and stuff, but
Mhm.
like I don't know. Like to me, I guess it's because of the photography mind, the filmmaking mind.
Mhm.
I always tend to see the set. Like whenever I get a figure and
Mhm.
I start to think, how am I gonna photograph
Yeah.
this figure or what am I gonna do
Yeah.
with him? I immediately
Mhm.
see what's around him first, and vehicles are always in the back of my head. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
they always
no,
are.
that's the it is like because it's a natural backdrop, like
Yeah,
vehicle, like cars are in photography, like cars are
exactly.
in real life everything. So like
Yeah,
if you're building a real scene, like yeah, they work. Like I always like on some of my shorts, you'll see like the side of a car next to somebody,
exactly.
just a little bit, just because it tricks your brain into thinking that it's real. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So yeah,
yeah.
I'm with you on the photography end. Like that's where my brain goes.
You like I'm
I'm
always
I'm like,
always
oh, like how where could I put this Hulk? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, how could I, what angles, would it look
yeah,
better with the blue light? Would it look better with the red? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
hell
So
yeah,
yeah.
dude. I'm the same way, man.
Yeah, should it have smoke? You know what I mean? Like all that shit. Like
Yeah,
that's where my head goes too. So
yeah.
yeah, I get
That's
it.
what I'm starting to do too. I noticed I'm starting to buy like all the stuff on a mini scale, like that little fog machine thing.
Oh, I
Uh,
want that thing. And then
I'm
I'm like,
I'm in
and
the
then I
process
tell
of getting it. Yeah.
oh, okay. And then I tell myself, I'm like, what are you really gonna use it for? And I'm like, yeah, I don't take enough photos,
Photos.
so
Yeah, I
I
have.
can't.
Currently am using a full sized, low laying fog machine. So you put ice in it, and then
Yeah,
it does like,
damn.
but it's huge, and like, don't get me wrong, it does the trick, but like I have to
Yeah.
wait a couple minutes for it to dissipate because the whole thing gets crowded. That's why I wanted that small
Mm.
one.
Yeah, you just hit a button and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
and I like the atmosphere spray, but that shit is expensive. It's
yeah,
a can of it is
yeah.
like almost $20 to $30, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, like I said, the lull between like this and filmmaking, I was
Yeah,
starting to get into photography and
yeah.
I was constantly just using like vapes and stuff and blowing smoke in
That works, that works.
yeah, and just taking like light dust and throwing it
Yeah,
in the air and shit. That's yeah. So I
that works.
was really going down the photography
But what
hole.
happened? How come you didn't continue?
I was just like, the photography is fun, but like I want to do more than just photography. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? Like it was scratching the itch
Yeah,
that, led to the Yojo jerk shit. So
yeah,
it's another thing. It was like a precursor. It got me
yeah,
looking at photography online and going, oh, I see what you did. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Because when you have the technical mind, it's not like, oh, that's a cool photo. It's like, oh, I know what you did there. Oh, I
Exactly.
see that Photoshop there. Oh,
Mm,
I know you added that fucking glare. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, oh, you're using a filter. You suck. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like there's one thing I will tell you right now. All of my thumbnails have like no color correction. Zero. Those are all in camera lit. Like
right on, dude.
I don't yeah, I'm all like settings. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like I don't use like I literally go into Photoshop and cut them out to put the lettering in. Like
nice, dude.
yeah, well, I for anybody who has made it this long, I will give you the biggest YouTube tip I've ever heard in my fucking life, and it is the truth. Okay? Your thumbnail is the window into your video's soul,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
And think about that, okay? The next time you make a thumbnail, and I
Mhm.
guarantee it might change the way you do thumbnails.
It actually has already, to be quite honest with you,
Mhm. And
because
I've never stopped, like, I don't do thumbnails like anybody else,
yeah. That
but
was kind of like common for me too. I was just thinking the same thing 2 days ago when I posted the Ninja Turtle one, because originally I felt like I was doing too much. Like I was trying to cut pictures out and put like weird backgrounds behind it just to try to catch the eye. But then when
mm,
I was seeing those, I really wasn't a fan of those. And then
mhm,
just something inside me said, "You know what? Just you love the photography. You have Instagram. You're going to post something to Instagram involving this video anyway. So why
mhm,
don't you just kind of hone in and take like a thumbnail, like a good thumbnail?" and that's what I did for the Ninja Turtle van. I took with the turtles in front.
Yeah, that
And
thing's I love that photo, man, by the way.
thank you.
Fucking
So
great
and
photo.
like you just said, little to very little
Mhm.
correction on it. It was just
Yeah.
exactly as it shows in the
Mhm.
thumbnail, exactly what it looked like. And that's when I said, as soon as I posted, I was like, you know what? These are gonna be my thumbnails from now on. I'm gonna just take some time to really, because then it
Yep.
also highlights my photography as well. So it's a
Yep.
little bit of everything. So
Yep.
like I couldn't agree more with what you just the advice you just gave. The
Yeah,
thumbnail really says it all.
and honestly, it was from something completely unrelated to even what toys is, but, like,
Yeah.
best advice I ever got because it really made me think about, what people see when they see your
Well, it's true,
video.
and also your particular thumbnail has become synonymous with you. So
Yeah.
when you see that thumbnail the way it is,
Yeah.
I immediately register Yojo Jerk has got a video coming out.
Mhm.
Please notify me.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
That's exactly, and it evolved too. It took a little bit to get there, but you know what I mean? I found something that works, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
dude, and
So,
it's showing because you're growing at an exponential rate. Um,
yeah, the last couple of weeks have been fucking unreal. So,
yeah. Listen,
like,
let me be the first to congratulate you in person, man.
well, thank you.
I've
Thank
been
you.
with you guys for a few months now, from kind of the inception of the Mega Powers podcast to the extension of your Monday night with Toy Gains.
Yeah.
And I've seen you guys grow quick. And like
Yeah,
I
it's
said,
nuts.
you inspired me. I'm sure you inspired many other toy guys.
I hope I
And
did,
just
man.
to see you guys getting now, like I said, today was the first time you guys hit triple digits, man.
It was
And
fucking nuts.
that's hey, listen, it might not mean much to many people, but it's a milestone, dude, and you deserve to be giving you flowers.
Yeah.
You're putting in the work, and it's showing.
Yeah. Well,
So
it's not just me on that. That's
hey,
Angelo
listen,
and
it's a team effort, and
Tim.
all
Yeah.
3 of you guys
Yeah.
really put together a top notch program on
Yeah.
Thursdays, and
Yeah.
you
I
and
might I might put it together and be the host, but those guys are there, man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It takes three to make that tango.
exactly.
You
Listen,
know what I mean? And then me and Angelo just get to be fucking dickheads on Monday.
one day,
So,
but listen, like it's another thing you said, and I couldn't agree more with you. Is the fact that you two are unequivocally yourselves. You don't clean it up. You
yeah.
don't do anything to try to garner a certain audience. You just do you. And
Yeah.
I think that's why people are gravitating to you guys. Because I noticed, even with my videos, I'm very low tier. I'm not on the same level with you and Angelo, but I did notice that when I act like myself, where I don't give a fuck, that's when
Mhm.
people gravitate to me. So it's like I said, it's
Yeah.
one of those things that you guys taught me, and I would
Yeah.
and then I'll thank you guys until you guys, like I said, you have a loyal fan and a friend here for life. The both of you guys, man. I appreciate you guys
Thank
for
you.
everything you've done for
Fuck
me
yeah.
personally. I can't speak for everybody, but for me, that's what you guys did, man. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, fuck yeah. Well, he does nothing but help me be me and vice versa. So it all works. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a very unlikely and odd friendship that we have. But it just worked like from day one. Cause like our
That's
first
it.
show, like I hadn't talked to Angelo more than like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. Like I said,
before,
you wouldn't know any
before,
better.
yeah. Like like I said, the Mega Powers was floating around in my head for months, and I was just like, what can I offer that's different?
Yeah.
And like Tim is kind of one of the main reasons I'm here too, because during the pandemic, I was being served channels, and then I'm watching this Toy Hunter, and I'm like, I know that fucking store. I was like, I know
Oh,
that motherfucking store. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch. And I'm like, he's literally in the town that I work in.
wow.
You know what I mean? So I became a fan just because I was like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
local boy. He's a toy hunter. I'll know what stores have what.
Well, I mean,
And then,
it's funny you
and
bring that up. It's
yeah.
funny you bring that because that's exactly how I found Toy Gains. I was
Well,
coming out of a store. He was coming into a store. And we literally walked right by each other and looked at each other. And he just stopped me and told me about the toy show that he runs. And I said, thank you. And I went online and immediately saw his face. The phone listens. All right. I subscribed, and that's how you guys came up in my channel, man.
Wow. It's a fucking small world, man.
For real, yeah.
Small world.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, it's just it's very unlikely. It's
Now,
so
did you
odd.
when you found out that he was in the area? Did you seek him out, or did you just
Oh,
run into him?
honestly, he ended up toy hunting at the store I work at. And
Oh,
he
shit.
comes up and he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I film in the store?" And I'm like, "Disavowed?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm this guy." And he's like, "Oh, this guy," and he was so nice.
Hell yeah.
And that also just was like, this guy's in my area. He's so fucking nice. And I was like, that kind of, set
Solidified
off
it.
something in me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it kind of was like, if he can do this, I can do this too. So, Tim has a very special part in all this as well,
That's good,
and
man.
he's always just been like super nice. He's like
Yeah.
just an unbelievably nice guy, Tim.
The common thing I'm always seeing with guys on this, because like I said, I'm very new to this community, but the common denominator I'm seeing with everybody is they always see somebody and go, "Oh, I'm not alone. I think I can do this too." Like that guy's the kind of the same as me, and then it just kind of snowballs. So that's one thing I'm
Yeah.
noticing with everybody in this community.
Yeah. And honestly, you can do this. I can tell anybody you can do this. You just have to, you have to really just do it until you find your rhythm and find the best way to express yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because everybody has something that they can bring to the table. It's just you got to figure out what that is and how to bring it. You know what I mean? And easier said than done. You know what I mean? Like I've been trying my whole life and I'm in my mid 40s and it took a long time to get here. So, you know what I mean? Like I'm just happy to be here. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy, all this fucking hard work paid off.
And hey, man, listen, many more success to you. Like I said, today was your first 100. I hope to 100, 200, 300 more.
It's just nuts, man. And just the last couple of months, it's just, it's nuts. It's still unreal to me. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is unreal to me, like it was nice enough to get the channel to a point where, I was like, oh, this guy always leaves a comment and it's really nice. And, but then once you start to go live, it's like you've elevated things personally, and it's different and it's weird because it's really foreign at first. And then like,
it's because they're talking to you in real time.
Yeah. Well, you don't know who you reach in the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I put this crazy shit out there. I didn't think it would ever be what it is. Like I thought it would just be like another, like, I gave it my best, you know what I mean? But it just kind of evolved into something that I liked more than I would have ever realized. Like, like I kind of just was looking at it as like, oh, this will snowball into something else. You know what I mean? But now that I'm finally feel like it's gotten to a certain level, I'm fucking grateful to be here. You know what I mean? Like people watching my shit still blows my mind. You know what I mean? Like it's still like that people like my buffoonery. You know what I mean? Like that the format hasn't gotten old. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like it's so wonderful. Like things have been like, I don't know. It's really hard when you make art your whole life and you don't you pass something to a friend and they're like, oh, I'll get around to it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I killed myself to make that. Like, please just look at it. You know what I mean?
I've been there, brother. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. So like, when you wake up and you see that you have like couple hundred views on something, and you're just like, and you have nice, positive people like just having a blast.
Yeah.
It's a fucking wonderful feeling. Like it's weird. It's weird because like I've always been on the other end of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I've worked 1,000 times harder and gotten no reward. You know what I mean? So
Trust me.
like,
Like I said, working in the
yeah,
wrestling business,
well,
I
you
know
know,
that.
you know, you
That's
know.
what I know.
Actually, have you ever heard of a guy called Mike Turner?
Uh,
Independent wrestler, used to wrestle for Ring of Honor.
what's his wrestling name? You know his work name?
His wrestling name is Matt
Mike
Turner.
Turner. Matt Turner.
Matt Turner, yeah.
Matt
I
Turner.
think that, yeah, it's Matt Turner.
Yeah, I might have.
I can't say his real name, but
Yeah, no, I might have.
well,
yeah,
have you ever heard of the Stardom podcast? Like they do the Japanese female wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Chris Jericho was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real good friend of mine, actually.
Right on, dude.
Yeah, dude. And you want to talk about somebody who punished himself wrestling in the minors forever, and
Oh, dude, it sucks, man. Trust me.
and he makes a podcast about the wrestling that he likes, and dude, he's got sponsors. They're flying him over to Tokyo, like all
Amazing.
kinds of crazy shit. And this guy would kill himself in front of 4 people just to give you the best experience you've ever had. You know what I mean? So like I understand your struggle, man. Like I have a friend who's been doing it forever.
It's been around. I've been around for 25 plus years now, mostly as a production producer. I do most of the, like I'm a head of production for a couple of companies on this side.
That's awesome.
But it's given me enough. Like now we do MMA and mixed martial arts, so it's like grown, so I'm very grateful to what it's given me. But it beat the shit out of me. I won't lie.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine. Yeah. Like I know people who went to wrestling school at the Wild Samoan place. And yeah. Like I understand the struggle. Like I know
my buddies just they went out there and would work the shows, that WXW, whatever it was.
Oof, yeah.
So they were very good friends with the Samoans. Dude, like, but listen, Joe, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, Brian.
Oh, hell yeah.
For real, dude. I've had a great time on this show. You've listened, you've given advice, you've kept it real. And I don't think you listened to me personally, you didn't say anything offensive. You didn't offend nobody. Nothing you said was out of line. So if anybody is a little offended or you think he said something offensive,
come get me.
That's your cross to bear, pal. Because I didn't find anything wrong with what you said. I agreed with pretty much everything. And like I said, I loved your story about the filmmaking and then the cartoon and everything and how you came to this channel. I love to see the fact that you're growing. I love to see the fact that everybody is seeing what I saw when I first came across you guys. That you and Angelo and even Disavowed, you guys have a rapport. You guys have a chemistry together, and it's done well. And I know every Monday and every Thursday I'm tuned in. As soon as the show starts, I'm ready to go because, like I said, man, I don't have many friends who just want to talk about toys and who just want to kind of represent
the breeze.
Yeah, man. So it's just that's why I got into this community and just to know where I started to where I am already, knowing guys like you and Angelo is an honor and a privilege. And like I said, I can't thank you guys enough for gracing me with your presence, man, and it's a great conversation.
Yeah, it was an honor to be here, man. Thank you so much for being interested, man.
No, dude, like I said, you got me.
And honestly, I've been asked a bunch to talk, and I don't do it often, man.
So. The funny thing is, when I spoke to Angelo about coming on, he said, because I said to him, I was like, I'd like to have all you guys at some point. And he said, well, you'll get me because I don't know about Joe Jerk. And I said, listen, I was like, if he suffers from the same things I suffer from, like social anxiety, but I have it. I've had it very badly. I still have it. I still deal with it every day. But I know that we could make it work. I'll be calm and always make people comfortable. It's one of the things that I've learned dealing with my issues is to always make the person in the room with you comfortable because then you'll be comfortable.
Hell yeah.
I'm happy that you were willing and comfortable to come on here with me today. I hope everybody who watches this learned, like I said, learned what I learned, and you're an even better guy than I thought. For
Wow.
real.
Well,
Like I said,
thank you so much.
Don't want to blow smoke up your ass, but I'm just being honest with you, man.
Thank
For
you.
real. So you can catch this young man on his channel, Yojo Jerk, on all social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube.
Mhm. All of them. Just type in the Yojo Jerk. You'll find me.
You'll get, like I said, the funniest reviews you've ever seen, and them entertaining from beginning to end. And like I said, his live streams with Disavowed and Toy Gains are top notch. Like I said, from beginning to end, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll have a great time. This has been Talking Figures. I am Tony. That is Yojo Jerk. Until next time, keep on playing, folks.